ask, and you shall receive a self-inflicted curse? It's almost Halloween, but where is your spirit? Walmart discounts or 3 wins with purchase. And did we call it or what? Spoiler, one of us did. More predictive analysis. Welcome back to Beyond the Fist, the Street Fighter League livecast talk show presented by Toga TV, SplicedHelix, Mortsy, togashiazrael for your Street Fighter League Pro US Season 2 coverage. Video footage from Street Fighter League Pro US is used with permission from Capcom. Follow the Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League on Twitch at twitch.tv/CapcomFighters, on YouTube at youtube.com/CapcomFightersTV, and on Facebook Live at facebook.com/CapcomFighters. Week 9 was do or die. Team Psycho and Team Spirit, both teams at 2-5, needing a win to stay in the hunt for a top 4 spot. Team Gale looking to get closer to clinching, and the logjam gets broken up in this 3rd week of runbacks. First match of the night was critical despite the difference in records. Team Psycho in a very poor position at 2-5 as mentioned, last in the standings and needed to pick up wins to stay alive. Team Gale on the opposite end of the spectrum, first place as they have been all season, looking to solidify their position in one of the top 2 spots and further separate themselves from the peloton behind them from 2nd through 4th. Here are your highlights from match number 1. This is Team Gale versus Team Gale versus Team Psycho. I typed that as Inferno on the script. That was the other typo that we had. 1 second.
Ron Burgundy.
We totally Ron Burgundy that one, or I did.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Ow! He said it himself. Ow! He hungry. Ow!
I don't know what it is about watching Sagat beat people up, but damn, is it exciting.
It's so good. I feel like there's always extra damage coming from Sagat. From the sounds that come out of the uppercut. Oh, and the knees too. Elbows, knees, toes.
Tiger knees.
Oh! Oh, he's not throwing anything. Oh!
This is, all right, this is important. This is very
Big
important.
frame trap for Shine. He's gonna get the corner carry as well. Does have critical art.
Lots of trigger.
Side switch. Oh, okay, maybe not.
Oh, the EX this time around has a lot of meat. You got to be careful with those jump ins.
Oh.
All right, automatic, really close to closing out. He's gonna have to be careful. No more trigger on the side of Shine. Jumps himself into the corner, and that's gonna be it. Automatic. Do I got no EX going on now?
How am I supposed to call this?
Oh my God, this is so exciting. Forward.
My body's broken.
Rob TV's down back game is actually ridiculous. He talks such a good game, and his offense is immaculate. But when he goes into defense mode, it's almost impossible to open him up. Forward throw.
Try to interrupt that Tenko, or excuse me, the shoulder. Tenko just got caught with the butt end of the counter hit on the way over. Double jab, he's getting past it. You can't follow through after the X-Tenko though. There's no invincibility after that.
Tries to go for the air there. Nice block on the cross-up. Oh, EX for Sinha. It's getting dark out there.
Oh, the mix!
Oh my God, the damage!
You have to keep blocking. The reversal Spencer, he only has one left, and he catches him with the back knee.
Just take a D. Another breath of fresh air. Maybe get some time to think in between those matches. Talk to his team. Knuckle Dude, he's not even getting coaching. He's just going in wrong.
We did get a little tidbit from Rob TV saying that he does believe that Team Psycho is the best. He's like, yo, Team Psycho is actually the best.
Wow.
Knuckle Dude immediately muted him. Kicked him out of the party.
Oh, wow. Confirm on the jump. Got the low knees.
I like that block. Air to air, but same side.
Ooh, this is not looking good. Look
Not
at
dead.
the
Not
damage.
dead.
Post stun.
Now you're dead.
Wow, with the perfect none. Set point right now for Knuckle Dude. You gotta be careful swinging against Ed.
Uppercut. You can't jump in.
I like the jab right there. I was gonna question why automatic never goes for.
Ooh, that's why, Steve.
I was gonna ask why he never goes for throws after the block low, the special low, right? Because he's so close. Side switch, he's gonna get the corner, go for throw. Oh, that would have whiffed. Okay, I'm glad he didn't do that. Oh, the jump behind. This is not good. Knuckle Dude making short work right now. Okay.
Big uppercut. No safe jump there from Knuckle Dude. V reversal to keep him contained in the corner. Nice break from automatic. Does it again.
Be ready.
Oh, the wheel kick just perfectly timed from Knuckle Dude.
Coming back and cleaning it up. One round away from taking this set, and that's why you don't want to slide.
That's why you don't want to say cut OCV me, Knuckle Dude.
Yeah. Invite the vampire in your house, man. Yo, man, come OCV me, bro.
They can't come in until they're invited.
Yeah, man, that's how
the rule.
vampires work, dude.
That's the rule.
Oh, almost got caught by the jump out. Oh.
And see, look, now Danka Diaz, he got caught so many times trying to walk back. Oh.
All right. First game of the set saw Automatic Sagat taking on Shine's Jury in a very interesting matchup. Automatic, a player tailor-made for this competition, has yet to show why. This has been put into question by yours truly, as his Sagat has been consistent at two things: being selected for use by Automatic and losing. Shine, once again the target of the ban this week, opted to go with his secondary from Season 1 in Jury. The end result, a shocking upset. The King puts up a W for Team Psycho. What shocked you more, Automatic with the win, or Shine with the Jury pick? Mortsy.
The Jury was questionable. I'm not... Okay, so I think the Jury was more questionable due to the fact that once he picked Jury, it was kind of expected that Automatic wouldn't lose. Would be like the best way that I put it. Just like and even I think he said afterward too that he had only really he barely used it. He's only been really practicing, I guess, Buki and Colleen or whatever. So yeah, definitely the Sagat winning was not the most surprising thing. It was actually, I think that would have been like all right, he's done if he had lost. That would have been Smug's pick not working, is what that would have been, basically. Yeah, so definitely the Jury pick. I don't really get it. It worked out in the end, but in hindsight it's like would have probably been nice to have a Colleen on the back instead of having to let Dude deal with everything.
Well, Knuckle Dude did end up dealing with everything. More on that later. SplicedHelix, talk to me about what shocked you more with this first matchup.
Mean, the post-game interviews, just they laid it all out, you know. He's like, I don't play Jury, and I didn't have to worry about it. They didn't have to worry about it because Knuckle Dude was on the back end. Neither one of them. I mean, more Shine not having to worry because he got banned out than Rob, but I mean, at the end of the day, all they had to do was rely on Knuckle Dude. So it's a nice safety cushion. It's 5-star rated by the National Transportation Safety Board.
5-star rating on the Uber ride from Knuckle Dude, apparently. That one was just this first matchup. I'm just like, we finally can see an Automatic win, but is it too little, too late at this point?
I mean, yes.
Isn't it literally too late?
Not quite yet. And we'll talk more about that. One more week, and then it'll be too late. More on that later. The previous matchup between these two teams, both Danka Diaz's Dalsum and Rob TV's Karen, were the targets of the team bans, both free to use their main characters this time around. Both picked Dalsum and Karen as expected. The end result, however, was far from that. Danka Diaz took his game to another level to take down Rob TV's main in an absolute wash. This was shocking, considering how well Rob TV played against this season's other Dalsum main, Team Spirit's Sabin. in a convincing fashion in week 3. So again, I'll pose the same question to you guys. What shocked you more, Dank and Diaz with the win, or Rob TV's play this time around with Karen, SplicedHelix?
I think it's two different Dawson playstyles. You know, I think Seven's a lot more. I want to say just strictly defensive, but I think he plays back a lot more. And Dank is just like, I'm going to hit buttons and they're going to hit you over and over and over. So I think that might have taken Rob by surprise a little bit. And, you know, he played well. He played the match, you know, he adjusted throughout the set, but it didn't do any good. It just, I feel that, you know, Dawson's tricky, and you don't get a whole lot of practice unless you're in certain places with certain people. So, I mean, I don't think it was really shocking. I just think it was a different situation, and he just didn't play the same way because it wasn't the same kind of matchup.
Mortsy, were you shocked that Rob wasn't able to adjust quick enough to Dawson?
Not really. Honestly, I want to say neither to the question. Because, one, they're both really strong players. Dank is, there's a reason Dank got second in the LCQ last year. Right? Against a lot of very strong players. One, this matchup looks a lot better than Blanca Guile that we saw last time. That was a bit of a mess. But it's just weird to fight, right? Sim's just a weird character to try and fight. Adjusting to the fact that he could just play, I think against Arturo, he was able to just play Karen and win. Whereas in this time around, he wasn't able to just Karen his way to victory. And so he actually had to, he didn't have to change the way he played initially against Arturo. And this time it just didn't work. So it's not his bad. He's a strong player, but it's just Sim is a wacky matchup, man. And sometimes it's hard when the other person knows the matchup, which way they most likely will, because they played it 100 times more than you have.
Nope, that is definitely fair. There are a fair share of Karens, of course, where Dank and Diaz normally plays as well between online and off, which he logs just a whole ton of hours. So nothing really shocking here other than Rob TV unable to adjust quick enough is probably what I would say between the styles that he's used to for Dawson. Fair?
Yeah.
All right. We're rolling through this one really quickly. Team Psycho at this point in the set, up 2-0. We're looking like they were playing for keeps and fighting for their lives in Season 2. Actually. But then the ghost of Team Psycho's curse uttered the unspeakable. Automatic asked Do for the OCV. Literally asked Knuckle Do for the OCV. And Team Psycho asked... Team Psycho received. Knuckle Do unleashed his G and proceeded to lambaste and obliterate the hopes and dreams of Team Psycho. 6 consecutive and convincing wins over all 3 members of Team Psycho nearly seals Team Psycho's fate in Season 2. More on that a little bit later. Knuckle Do seemed poised to lead his team to a Season 2 championship, and the first step appears to be the first seed going into the playoffs. Is Knuckle Do this season's MVP right now, Mortsy? He hates the question.
Yeah, this is a really hard question, right? Because you have... I can't think of any other players that would. Definitely not Punk this time. I don't think Punk's in contention at all. You could argue JB, depending on how the rest of the season goes. And depending on... Because can't remember if they won every time they had Rashid. But that's really important. We're basically going to be looking at the percentages of who's doing super well when they have their character, who's winning all their matches, and who's managing to pick up games when they're on their secondaries. So honestly, it might go to Samurai right now. Because of he's consistent with Akuma, and he's actually beating people with if not making them super, super close. And so I think it's fair to say when you say oh yeah, it's due. If they continue on this war path, it could very easily be due. But a single OCV here isn't oh my god, he's in, and they're first place, but they're first place due to the outstanding performance of all 3 players. outside of Shine because he keeps having to play
I was
secondary.
going to say at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because Shine doesn't get to play.
I mean, Shine will get to play in the next couple
He
weeks,
will.
yes. So
Correct.
let's see if that holds true. SplicedHelix, you said your piece a little bit. The complete team effort, or is this NuckleDu being, Season 1's Capcom Cup champion NuckleDu?
I think it's a little bit of both. You have to have solid team play because it's a team event, but he's solid by himself. I mean, just this week it shows because Shine was just like, I'm gonna pick whoever, it doesn't matter, Du's back there, and Du just mopped up the floor and it worked. So I don't know about MVP yet, but he's definitely a big cog in the wheel.
Are you guys shocked that there isn't actually an MVP trophy yet, or an actual
Yes.
MVP thing?
That's stupid.
It would be a pretty easy thing to do it with, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Especially last season.
yeah. Anyways, we'll start moving forward now.
Yeah, Samurai deserved it last season too.
Oh my goodness, did he ever? And we had a nice lengthy discussion about that last season as well. Week 9, match 2 was also a critical matchup. Team Storm looking to keep pace with Team Gale, leading the 2nd through 4th logjam with a win over Team Spirit. Spirit, despite being ahead of Psycho on tiebreakers, were in the actual do-or-die situation. Win to keep their playoff hopes alive, or lose and play spoiler for the rest of Season 2. Here are your highlights for Storm versus Spirit.
That is a classic straight. You know this guy's old because he knows how to fight.
That's an old man
Old
straight.
school fighter right there.
That's an old man straight right
the
there.
way he moves his hips and rotation, the animation.
The follow through, that's a straight arm, man. You see his elbow and everything. All right.
That's a textbook example on how to throw it straight right there. That's how old Urian actually is.
Yo, CJ Truth still in this though. Working on a perfect right now. About 40% left on the life bar. Good sweep. Oh, wow, what a whip punish, jeez. Oh, the
I
neutral.
like that. Doesn't even want to sit there for the trap. He's going to jump out of there. And now containing CJ in this corner. The man in the mirror.
And he got the side switch. Tommy fighting with CJ's back to the wall. V
Oh,
reversal.
no.
Takes a few hits from
I
the
like
mirror.
that.
Yeah. Tommy's still in trouble here though. CJ Truth working on the C8. Nice bait on that V reversal. That means there's definitely not going to be a trigger in this game. Not for Karen anyway. Oh.
Counter hit conversion, critical art. That's going to be enough. That's
that
going
it?
to be enough.
Done and done. The CA to close out Tommy. Taking it over CJ Truth. You see, did you see? Safe. I'll punch a shoe. I'll punch that stick. I'll punch that hat if I have to. I want the round. Okay,
That's
it's the EX.
actually hurtful. He punches your toes. Like, you're not walking for the rest of the set.
Like dropping a book on your foot, man. That hurts. I feel like that's the equivalent force. Like,
Probably,
you know?
yeah. I would assume so.
Oh, crush. Man, that's good damage for a crush counter. Especially an air-to-air crush counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anti-air, yes, sir. Using the triple punch.
Yeah, plus on that down forward hard kick right there.
Ooh, and I like that jump medium punch, really getting a lot of mileage. As soon as Mojo started using that, it caught Sab in air-to-air. Majority of the times they've encountered each other.
The teleport to the other side.
Do it again.
Oh my God, he threw back. Oh my God, that was sick, young art. Forward throw.
On match point, keeping the media there. Anti-air is there. Savage is one more touch away, trying to step, and he whiff punish, just taking it over Joey 2-1. Presidentiality level, still got a good amount of bar either way, and he puts himself at match point.
Keeping in mind, this is an East versus West Coast match.
That's right, 801 area code for Salt Lake City, Utah. IDOM hailing all the way from, what was it, Brooklyn?
Yeah, Queens,
And I like
New York.
it. Oh, it's Queens, New York. I apologize, Queens.
Shout out to Queens. Oh, stand
Nice
medium
check with
kick.
the medium.
That
And again,
moves.
this is what Tommy 27 was saying. You just got to slow him down, play him in the neutral, out footsie him, out neutral him. Don't let the scrambles happen. Crouch fierce, you know it.
Oh, the
The
whip
whip
punish
punish.
into the buffer. Oh my God, that was sick. Oh
This
my
guy's a
God.
machine.
You would know. I saw your little tutorial.
Still ain't got no ring though. I didn't do it right.
Oh,
The exchange, yes sir. The trade combo from Tommy. Big conversion off the double counter hit strong.
how was he ready? Another V reversal. Okay, EX tackle. He wants to keep that corner. Crouching.
He's well
fierce
aware
punch,
now of where Sabin is once he teleports in the air.
Oh.
That's fine.
Oh, the Gale, but look at the series. Good damage on the side. Teleports in front this time. Powers it up. Double Gale.
That's a lot of chip damage, Steve.
Sabin needs this round.
Oh, you see now he's taking to the skies a little bit more. There it is. Yeah, the jump strong finally coming to fruition here. Oh, trigger, critical art, you're dead.
Oh,
He dropped.
why would you say that? Oh,
doesn't
and that's when he said he
matter.
was gonna go for the shimmies a little more, and it worked. Team.
All right. In a must-win scenario, Team Spirit captain CJ Truth opted to put himself in the lead position for this one, trying to set the tone for the set. He was met by a very game Tommy Two-Step, who has very quietly been dominant with his Urian this season. CJ went with Karen, but didn't get the desired result as Tommy Two-Step clutched out a win. Were you surprised with the choice, given that Colleen was still available for CJ Truth, SplicedHelix?
I don't think so. He's been splitting time between the two. You know what does surprise me though, is that when we started this season, how many of us were like, "Oh yeah, this team's going to be super strong, and they're they got Dom and CJ Truth, and they're going to be number 2 or number 3 or no, they're not. They're not going to be any of those things." That's what surprised me.
Mortsy, talk to me about Team Spirit. What happened with CJ Truth? What happened with his team?
I don't even think it's on CJ. If I'm being honest, I don't think. I think some of his character choices, maybe the Karen is a bit of a questionable character choice in terms of what he's already had prepared, where he's working on. It seems like he has a grasp of the character, and he's been working on it consistently. So it's kind of weird to go, I'm preparing this, as opposed to strengthen the character that he already has ready and could have better. It's not like Colleen's a bad character, right? It's not like his secondary is like Falk or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I should probably know a better character, cough, Sabin, cough. So it's unfortunate. I think he's done well with Cammy. Right, like he's done fine when he's had Cammy. Cammy is great, but the issue is that when Cammy has been available, he's picked Karen, which is weird.
Yeah, a little bit. And this time around, of course, Cammy wasn't available, and he opted to go with Karen anyways.
So I think his play has been fine given which character he's playing, but I think the decisions that he's making before the game are a question.
That is fair. Let's move on very quickly because I do want to talk about, or I want to delve into this topic because I think this might be the biggest surprise with regards to Team Spirit and how they've done this season. That's Idom and his Laura. EVO 2019 finalist, NLBC top 2 on the weekly, one of the strongest players in the US. We've talked big game about Idom and his Laura and how it could be a cornerstone piece to the success of Team Spirit with the new ban restrictions in place. Pre-season, we all thought Idom was going to get to play and that everyone gets mixed the same. Season 1 panelist Geki questioned the neutral game. I'm just pointing that out right now. 801 Strider showed that he had better Fusies last week. Idom on Laura this season, a mere 2-2. How much of his performance with his main is at fault for Team Spirit now being eliminated from contention? Mortsy.
The 2 losses have been against G, haven't they?
I believe so.
That's a hard matchup, dude. The fact that sweep goes under clap is a load of shit. May I just say myself. Particularly because Fangs doesn't, and he's literally lying on the ground. So there's a bit of bullshit going on. Nonetheless, that's a super tough matchup. I'm not even, like, blaming IDOM. Honestly, like, that sucks, dude. That matchup, and Strider's, I think, known as one of the slow Gs.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no, like, you're not going to get in on him. He's not going to turn minus frames into plus frames. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, he's -2. It's my turn. He's literally just going to never go in because that's the kind of game that he's capable of playing, and that's the kind of game he wants to play. Like, we saw that last round was like textbook, dude. It was perfect. So I don't think, like, IDOM just keeps getting bad matchups. Oh, no, the loss isn't, the other loss isn't G. If he's 2-2 on Laura. It's Karen.
Oh, it is Karen, yes.
Because it's Rob TV.
Yeah.
Okay, that matchup, that was bad on him. But here, I don't blame him. Strider, it's neutral. That's hard. You're playing neutral against G. Give me a break, dude. Without a fireball. Your fireball is, if every time you do quarter circle back punch, you get swept. That's what your fireball is. So it's like, you can't really do that. And it's a very hard habit to kick. When it's just like, well, I guess I can't ever fireball neutral anymore. Great. So, yeah, it could be a lot better. It's not to the point that we were hoping it would, for sure. But he's not the only good player on this team. And I think a lot of it's like a collective, you know? Yeah.
All right, SplicedHelix. You've talked about the Ban G movement from Season 1. Now it's not so bad, but NuckleDu looked really, really good this week. 801 Strider as well. How much of this... and plus, 801 Strider used to main Laura, so how much of this loss are you actually putting on IDOM, or is it just 801 Strider playing out of his... All right. That answers that question as he walks away from the chair. Now he's going to come back. Feel free to answer the question.
Just ban G. Just...
Couldn't they not ban G? What happens when you can't ban G?
I just mean in general. Just
yeah. Spirit. To be fair, Spirit could not ban G.
Wait until season 5, baby. That character is gonna be the next Abigail.
If they nerfed him into the ground, I would not be upset.
They're gonna do the exact same nerf. His command grab is gonna be point blank. That's it. And that would honestly not be terrible. Also, remove his plus frames on EX dash. That's it. And he's like a bearable. Maybe make Crutch Fierce a little worse. And I think at that point, he's like a bearable character.
Maybe take a couple of his juggle points away because he's got like 11.
Yeah, I was watching Brian F stream today, and dude, it's like a cursive. Everything just flows into the next thing. Yeah. There's no like limits to what he can juggle. Everything juggles. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah. No. What was the question?
How much of this is on IDOM?
I think, you know, it's like we've been saying all season, Mortsy mostly, that when your number comes up with your main, you got to win.
Yeah.
When you're not banned out, you have to win, and you know that shows you what happens when you don't. And because of it, look where they're sitting. Absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, previously we had mentioned how well Tommy Two-Step is playing this season. Previously, we had an MVP discussion. One of us on this panel actually threw his name in the hat at that point in time. There's no doubt he is part of the reason Team Storm is so successful right now, with other teams targeting Strider's G and Mojo's Mika. Tommy Two-Step has been more than up to the task with his Urian and continues to impress. 8-4 over the course of the season with Urian. Should his name be in consideration for this season's MVP? Should the remaining teams, Gale and Psycho, consider banning Urian? Or is this just a total team effort on the part of Team Storm? SplicedHelix.
Who said it? Was it me?
I think all of us threw it in at some point. We talked about it when he was like 6-2.
Because if you're going off it's the same thing that I was talking about last season. If you're going off the most valuable player for the teams, you know, the player that lets you get those wins, not just the guys that sweep the entire other team because they're who they are. Yeah, he's solid. I'm not sure MVP would go for that, depending on what's left in the
Yeah, there's still two more to go.
If they stay that solid and he doesn't drop any more games, then yeah, absolutely. If he's that solid foundation for if A or B gets banned, you've got Urian and Tommy Two-Step, then absolutely. Absolutely.
Would you consider banning him? If you're the last two teams?
Oh, see, now that one's rough.
Here's a hint. Say yes.
Sure. I mean, who else? Who do they have left to play?
Gale and Psycho.
It's Gale and Psycho.
So guess what?
Okay, Gale, no, because you've got two Guile mains on that team. There's no way you ban Urian. There's no. If you lose to a Urian as Guile, you're doing something. Like, I lose to Urians as Guile, but only when they're like way far ahead of me. Like on the same level, you don't lose to Urian as a Guile. No, there's no excuse for that. So I don't see Gale doing it. Psycho, who knows? Who knows?
All right, Mortsy, talk to me about Tommy Two-Step.
On the note of, sorry, Tommy's doing great. Tommy's fantastic. Tommy beat the captain, and then he beat another player. Tommy, if MVP standard for most valuable pick, he would get it for sure. Because I think he is the person, if we were to assign weights to everyone at the start based on how well we think they would play, and we said Tommy would easily be the player who exceeds his point value the highest, or the most. Like, he's tripled his value. The stocks on Tommy Two-Step have never been higher.
Gustavo won the draft, basically.
That is actually that's potentially a very good way of putting it. Even though we definitely thought Spirit did. It's at this point, once again, that it looks like Storm did.
Strong on paper, but not quite.
That's the Storm curse, what this is.
Mm-hmm.
It is them to overperform.
It's not a reverse curse. That's not really a curse, is it?
What would you call it then?
A buff?
Well, there's a reverse for a curse. It's like
well, I mean, just winning the draft, I guess.
No, but
is there
what's the reverse of a curse? It's like
charm?
It's not a buff. There's an actual word for this, and they say it a bunch in Fairy Tale.
Charm?
No, I'm not trying. I'll figure it out after.
Okay.
Anyways,
a blessing.
That might be it. That probably
the opposite of a curse.
Literally blessing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. On the note of who bans Urian, I think Gale will.
Really? It's such a waste, though.
Because neither team will want to ban G. Because it's that week. Neither team banned G last week, and then we'll talk about this during my predictions as well. So it's either you ban Urian, or I guess you could ban Lucia if you're really concerned about Striders. But at that point, there's no point in banning Lucia because you play G, right? And then Gale or Storm can ban. They could ban G. I don't see them doing it though. Don't see them being like, yeah, like we'll beat two secondaries. I see they just go with it and they ban. Well, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about
that. But I think I could very, very easily see Gale doing it because they're the kind of team that goes and they respect their opponent. I think a little bit. I definitely think that the G, if they could and they didn't have this distinct overlap, then the G would be a no-brainer. But because it's not, and I think that Tommy Two-Step, if you're willing to ban Armika instead of G, I think that at this point you're definitely willing to ban Urian instead. Whether or not that happens, we'll see, and we will talk about it at the end. But yeah, I think he's almost deserved. He deserves it.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna bring up the Chun and still whip ass. So
yeah, that's gonna be kind of crazy. Where does Team Storm finish?
Top 3 at this point.
Yeah.
Right. On that note, by the way, has any secondary OCV'd yet?
No.
Definitely not, eh?
Yeah. we might get to talk about something like that a little bit later on.
I mean, technically, isn't G do secondary?
No, that's
Okay, that's not true.
That's
That is
not true.
100%
That is
not
that
true.
is that is a
Not
100%
anymore.
lie. My goodness,
not
yeah,
anymore.
G is definitely a main for.
No, he's a Gao main. Shut up.
Definitely a main for Knuckle Dude. That does it for. We're flying through this show. Holy crap! That does it for or for the second matchup of the week. Let's talk about La Pièce de Résistance, because this one was a doozy. If you thought the talking from Team Psycho was bad, we didn't even get to show it. If you thought that was bad, this week might have proven to be a lesson in keeping your mouth shut and your opinions to yourself. Team Inferno captain Punk had some choice words, not only for the ban by Team Frost, but threw shade at Frost's most consistent player this season, Samurai. Samurai remained his usual stoic self while the insults were thrown, but who had the last laugh? Take a look. Trash Talk and Team Frost versus Team Inferno.
What are you guys going to do differently this time?
So we're going to actually make this interesting. In terms of the ban, we're going to ban Rashid.
The Rashid, so you're going to ban yourself.
We're going to make a deciding match between Punk and Samurai.
Interesting. So they're going to try to set this up so they can come down to you and Samurai. And you know, you've been talking a lot of trash about Samurai.
Probably the worst choice you would ever make in your entire life is to put someone who goes toe-to-toe with Tokido with Walmart brand Tokido. Why would anyone ever bank on that? And I know the team spirit is very low right now because he banned himself. If you banning yourself and you really believe that Samurai could beat me, you're an idiot.
Message.
Beating up one of the gang members, sending him back to their leader. Tell him I sent you.
Please don't hurt me. Just tell your leader I'm coming. DP. All right.
Ooh.
Steal. I like the duck. And even the DPs aren't working out. Gets the crush counter sweep. Answers back one of his own. Pump. Wake up, CA. Gonna hit. The crush counter sweep. There's the activation.
Oh, the DP. She's gonna get around. Solar plexus.
Have to be careful.
Oh, he's actually nervous.
The forward throw.
Okay. This is where Punk shines. And he confirmed into critical art is going to seal the deal for Punk. Oh, that's going to be it. The reaction.
The whip punish full CA after the DP from Sherry, and that's going to be 2 games to none.
How do you feel about that, Steve? Because think about where they're at right now. It's dual Kevin versus JB. Both Rashid means.
It's too important. I would not like. You need to put pride aside of some of these situations. I definitely would not have banned my own character. I'm sorry.
I would love to play my character against another Rashid specialist.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I think it would be a great testament of skill to take out somebody like JB with a main.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hate mirror matches, but like in this situation, if that's your best, oh man, the crush you
I only like it if you're playing against the best of the world, right? It just makes sense. It's like, all right, where do I stand up against somebody who's world caliber?
About to get stunned again. He needs to be really careful. There's the trigger. JB on the verge, gets the cross up, tragedy.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That was an autocorrect situation there. JB getting the tragedy.
Wheel kick. All right, wake up CA.
Oh. He still got it. Oh,
the B skill loses to the jump in. And that's going to put Samurai actually in the OCB position.
Samurai putting himself at match point against Brawly Legs.
Okay, Demon Flip gets the slide right after.
Full conversion there. Has to go for the medium kick Tatsu after the far strong.
Oh.
Nice late dragon punch there from Samurai. One more sequence in the stun. You know, he's got critical art on deck as well.
Actually, he might.
Yeah, that should be more than enough.
And done. Samurai takes it 2-0 over Brawly Legs, gets the perfect on top of it. The Bison was the character for Brawly Legs, no Chun-Li.
look at the match, Steve, we got 2 bars on the side of Samurai. A lot of resources to be had in this final match. Punk actually missing a low forward to Firm. He gets the Fearsome set, gets the corner, a ton of damage.
Oh, the EX worked out exactly how it did in the first game.
Oh. The roundhouse clipping.
Oh, the anti-air. Oh, EX this time. He was looking for the back throw. Go show you that's a forward throw.
A nice break there from Punk, trying to find out of this corner, walk his way out. Samurai caught him with a low forward fireball, another check.
Life slightly in favor of Samurai at this point. The great
V
life
reversal,
though, adding
a ton
up.
of it.
Double V reversal. Ooh, the slide. You bet not
back
check
throw,
it.
he cashed it out.
30% just off of a back throw because of all that great life. Samurai in trouble. Samurai in a bunch of trouble, but he has a lot of trigger left. Not any meter though.
Oh, no punish on the EX Tenko. He checked him. That's a demon flip palm. My side, Steve. You're splitting my sides. One more hit. He got him. He got him. He got Samurai. Him.
League OCV.
Team battle point for Team Frost. OCV point here for Samurai. Is it gonna happen, Steve?
I don't know, man.
Is he gonna do it, Steve?
Oh, nice anti-air. Stand roundhouse once again. Nice, use the EX moonsault. Gonna make him use that V reversal to stop the pressure. Oof.
No stopping the V reversal. That's the second time around. JB's been able to escape the corner. Nice EX Sonic side.
Oh, that could have been a lot worse though.
Again, a lot of mileage out of this V reversal
Those
for
air to air.
JB.
Especially on the demon flips. He's getting good at picturing those. Calling them out in a lot of instances too.
What?
The heavy kick. Yeah, the
He
roundhouse Tatsu to get through the projectile. Oh, EX side. Okay, wait a minute. That life's getting pretty close. Okay.
Nice air to air there. Interruption from Samurai. A couple more touches against JB. He can seal it, but JB has a V reversal at least on deck. He's building a little bit more towards that V trigger. Oh, he runs into it. Gets the V trigger though.
Yeah, that knee was definitely working out. Oh, okay. That was so smart because he actually
He runs into it.
We only have one topic to discuss for this set. We've touched on Sherry's Nakali coming close, but due to the ban, her Ryu was irrelevant. We've talked about Dual Kevin's inability to perform outside of using Rashid this season. His G was also irrelevant. The main event, Samurai versus Team Inferno. In a surprise move, Brawly Legs opted to go with Bison instead of Chun-Li. Also irrelevant. Samurai showed that Broly Leg's so-called secondary was an afterthought. Moving on to what was unfortunately a heavily climactic non-closeout game. Samurai showed poise and patience in order to defeat Punk, who was unable to read the EX Demon Flip slide. The closeout game was Samurai easily dispatching of JB's Nash to OCV reverse sweep the set. Samurai now... I had another question here, and I totally emptied it out. Was this a brilliant ban?
Beat everybody.
Yeah. Was this a brilliant ban on the part of Team Frost? Or more about Samurai doing what he's done almost all season across 2 seasons of Street Fighter League Pro US? Mortsy.
Both! Yay! Little Mexican girl meme. Or why not both?
Why not both?
Meme.
Porque no
I'd
los
also like
dos?
to point out that I'm pretty sure we've seen Bison more this season than we did last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he got to play as Bison once, and we've now seen 2 Bison. Who was the other secondary again? Someone else brought it out as a secondary, obviously.
Bison?
Yeah.
I can't recall.
Maybe not. Anyways, yeah, we've seen Bison more. Anyways, yeah, it's a combination of both, because obviously it takes a lot. Samurai still had to win, obviously. And for the record, JB did not easily win against JB. That was a very good play. I've actually loved JB's Nash. I think his Nash is great. That was actually, outside of the super sloppiness that was that last round. Also, I love him waking up with EX Scythe. I think that is such a great idea. And it's so risky, but he had V-Trigger, so it didn't really matter. But I think it's super cool. He just dropped the conversion after. Yeah, I talked about this ban. I'm claiming it now because I called the shit out of how this ban system was, how this ban was going to work.
He actually did call it.
And that the teams are Frost is in such a better position banning Rashid than Nash, or technically I was under the assumption that he would pick Birdie, but I guess the Nash does make a lot of sense in this context due to who he's playing against. Holy shit, I feel sorry for Sherry. On another note, God damn, that was brutal. I don't even know what to say. It was like Mike Tyson fighting like a 90-year-old man.
That was
It was painful.
The steak was overdone. That's how badly she was cooked.
That's a good one. It was brutal. She almost took the round though, which would have been really funny. I love like you're not gonna win anyways. Throw out the DP at the end on the read. Imagine if she caught a sweep or something. Holy shit, that would have been awesome.
That would have been pretty good.
So cool. So I respect it. But on the actual question, it is a combination of both. Samurai obviously had to beat Punk. That isn't easy. Obviously. But Dual Kevin did make it a lot easier by having by banning away Rashid and sacrificing himself essentially. Because they have enough trust to be like actually that's something interesting, a bit of a difference in the team dynamics here. Inferno it's not Punk going, do you guys trust me? It's Punk going, I got this. This is all me. Whereas on Team Frost, it's Mikey, I trust you to win this. I believe in your skill as a player. So Punk Coggy versus team trust and belief. And we see truly what came out on top. But on an actual note, JB is such a much weaker secondary than his, even though he literally won anyway. So I can't really say that here. But I think that banning away Rashid was super good because then we don't have to deal with the mirror. And there's one less person to beat Samurai. So I think that was definitely the play. Yeah, it was a combination of both. Kudos to Samurai for pulling it off because I think he's one of the few people. Who else has beaten Punk's Karen?
We'd have to go into the stats for that one because I actually don't recall. Decadius was one of them, obviously, because the reverse of the curse. But I can't recall.
But he's picked Lucia a couple times already.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inferno dropped the ball, man. Holy shit. Did they ever drop the ball this season? It's actually crazy.
SplicedHelix, talk to me about your boys.
You know, Punk thrives on confidence. He thrives on confidence, you know. But just watching the interview that he had with Rip, watching the pregame smack talk, all that, he went just a little bit too far. He took the confidence, turned it into being just way too cocky, and I think just that mindset turned it the dial just a little bit too much toward, of course I'm going to win, and it made him not. There was one thing in that last round. He whipped something and he got hit by an EXDP. At that point, that's where the switch flipped. After that point, he was on the back foot, and that wasn't good. Like the demon flip kick was good, but I don't understand why you wouldn't block that. I'm not calling Punk's gameplay into question. Obviously, he's probably the best. You know, he's obviously the best North American player in the world. But I don't understand, man. I don't understand. My boys.
I can kind of justify it. If you look at the footage, he goes, the way that the momentum was, he was like high, high, high. If he was here, he's like high, 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 and then he's like right down, and he was like barely crossed over, and then was just on the ground and the other side. So not only does he have to block the high, or like he has to go high, immediately block low, but he also has to block the cross-side.
So that's a higher level player. That's why I would have blocked it, because I wouldn't have done any better.
Yeah, he still should have blocked it, obviously, because you're supposed to block things in this game. But I imagine that's why.
And I mean, it came down to the last hit. The whole set came down to the last hit.
All right, so the sort of, I just kind of want to sum up this week as I want to sum up this week as kind of a it's sort of showed that this is more of a team thing than most people are giving it credit for. The 3 teams that won were quote unquote the more complete teams, sort of trusting each other in doing what they're supposed to do in order to win. Whereas we talked about how Punk is like, I will win this, as opposed to trust me to win this. And
See, you
it's really...
say that, except 2 of them were OCVs. So it was literally a single player winning all the matches.
But in both cases, there was the first interview with Gale, where both players were saying they trust
more the dynamic than
the
result.
dynamic, yeah. And we've seen Team Storm and how they've banded together as a team. The high five is a meme at this point. It's they have this camaraderie that's not there with Inferno, and even though Inferno will probably still make the top 4, it's kind of showing the difference between these teams. I had a point to this, and I think that was all I wanted to say about that. Talking about Inferno, though, very, very interesting scenario. We talked about how Team Spirit is already out mathematically. Here's the situation. If Team Psycho wins out, and if Team Inferno loses out, guess who wins the tiebreaker between Psycho and Inferno?
Psycho?
Psycho definitely wins the tiebreaker.
Oh, yeah.
So
Inferno's not going to lose out.
Okay.
No.
Here, so just saying, that's why.
Clap. I saw that clap. Don't clap.
That is why I wanted to talk about that. That is why Psycho technically is still in. They have to do their job and they need a lot of help, but they're still in. Spirit loses all tiebreakers, period, with the exception of Psycho, which is why they're still in 5th, but they're out.
So basically, we're waiting for the Cleveland Browns to make the playoffs.
Yes. Anyways, that is my bit for stats. Mortsy's got a few more. Let's do some predictive analysis for next week. Stats with Mortsy. Let's go.
Bring it on.
Okay. So, first, let's go over last week. Obviously, we just did a whole thing, but I want to go over the predictions from last week. I was right for everything except the Cammy ban from Storm. Including who was banned, including who had the advantage and who ended up winning. We are all correct for Storm and Spirit. Give yourselves a little pat on the back. Well done, gentlemen. Now, on to next week. So, we have, obviously, our matchups for next week. The aforementioned Inferno versus Psycho. We have Gale fighting Storm, and we have Spirit fighting Frost. So again, none of these are the tiebreaker teams. I'm going to bring up the standings real quick just because I want to have them open while I do this. It's actually technically, the Gale Storm is technically a bout for first, as Storm is able to tie it up at 6-3 apiece if they manage to win. Team Frost also at 5-3 right now, so they're looking to claim that as well. Mm-hmm. And then Inferno is looking to not continue losing. Is their thing. So I will talk about Gale Storm first. Now, this is one of the interesting matchups. I have a couple where this week where I didn't feel there was necessarily an advantage. This is one of them. It's really going to come down to the play of the players. Due to the first week bans for Gale and Storm, Gale banning Armika and Storm banning Ibuki. That means neither team has banned G so far, and we all know that the overlap of characters here. NuckleDu has played, I'm pretty sure, nothing but G when he's had it available, and he's played Mika once, but I'm pretty sure that was when he was banned. And Storm, obviously, the G has been a staple, and they want G to be able to be played, but we've seen a very, very capable Lucia on the back end when the G is banned with Strider. So, my assumptions going into this next week, I can see both teams not banning G. I think we've seen the mirror a few times already, and I think what's his name? Du has won every single one, if I recall.
I think you were
He
right there.
wiped the floor with Smug.
Yeah, he's destroyed Smug every time. I'm just double checking. So Storm won the. Is that how I have it set up? No, Gale won the first one when they banned Armika. So I'm assuming that Strider lost to someone with G. I can't remember who it is, but Gale won that. Ooh. We are. So they could just rock the mirror again, let everyone be strong. Banning, I am expecting, so my assumptions are going to be a Urian ban.
Which we talked about earlier.
Yep, which we talked about earlier. Or if Gale really feels like the big brain play and Storm goes, well, Strider lost the mirror last time. Maybe we should ban G. And then Gale's like, yo, they're going to ban G. Let's ban Lucia. And then they finally get to see that Strider Laura. But I expect the Urian out of Gale. And I could see either a Kale ban. Kale. Well, I've been playing too much League, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I could see a Karen ban, or they could ban Guile. Guile would be a fair ban going up against a team or Gale who has two Guiles, and if they expect, if they don't want to deal with that, if they don't want Tommy to have to deal with that, if they don't want the an Unleashed Mojo to deal with that, then they could ban it away, because you kind of go, is the Karen? It's basically, who do you want to see at a Rob TV next? With this next, so they can kind of pick and choose.
All right, let me jump in on that.
Oh, that's where we saw the Bison, by the way, was Rob TV.
Yeah, let me jump in on that for a second, because we didn't actually talk about this before we started going on air. We were talking about Urian, or even in the first segment, we were talking about the potential of Urian being banned. We forgot to talk about how the big brain play might be to ban Guile specifically for Mojo's Mika as well. That's yeah. That you just brought that up. I just wanted to re-highlight the point that that might actually be a really, really galactic brain ban.
You just cover it so that way even you're comfortable with Karen, but you don't want to go against Guile. You just play or you ban the Guile. You play Mika, ban Guile, and it makes it a little bit easier.
All right.
On that note, I would like to hear your guys' predictions for this match. Yeah, because we could guess for Spirit and Frost as well, because I didn't fill anything out there. Because again, I felt they were very, very even. I didn't find any of them had an advantage, but I would like to hear the predictions for this one here. Toga, why don't you start with yours? Who do you feel is going to win and why?
We talked about at the midway point, or at some point, I think it was last week or the week before, whether or not Gale would run the table. Mortsy, you brought up the fact that they probably would.
Yeah.
I am just going to flat out agree. They are playing lights out of their mind. I of course was on the Team Gale ship last season as well. I will continue to stay on that one and say Team Gale will take this one just on the call it vibes. Let's call it vibes. I'm vibing. I'm vibing.
And sometimes that is the kind of.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of thing that I'm having difficulty with some of these matchups, is going, I can't for sure discern who's going to win. It's more of just like, it's literally I think this team's going to win.
Yeah, I'm trying. I can't really pick out a specific reason, because the sort of the way these teams match up is interesting, and it really comes down to which characters are banned. And I don't know if I can predict which character is going to be banned.
Exactly.
So
it's kind of hard, especially when the bans can look so different.
Yeah, and depending on who is banned, of course, if G is banned, this entire matchup changes dramatically.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go with the team that's running the hot hand right now.
Gale it is?
And it's Gale.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Done. Helix, how do you feel about this matchup?
If G is banned, Gale takes it. If G is not banned, Storm takes it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then myself, I'm going to go with Storm wins anyways.
Storm wins?
Regardless.
Huh.
Tommy will beat Dude's.
I think Strider wins the mirror. I don't think either team bans G, and Strider wins the mirror. So I'm gonna.
That's why I said Storm if G is not banned.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so we'll leave that one at that. Next up, we're going to talk about Inferno and Psycho.
I really want to talk about this one.
Yeah, so first week, it is to note that if Psycho wins both games and Inferno loses both games, then Psycho makes it in. Mm-hmm. Or at least they're not last. They are at least ahead of Inferno if that transpires. Mm-hmm. The issue is that the last two teams that Inferno has to play are
Psycho and Spirit.
Which means they've got like the perfect matchup spread for the rest of the season. On that note, Karen is not going to be available this week. Should Psycho feel that way? The first week, G and Rashid were banned, which means on top of that, so the Sim is most likely going to be banned from Inferno. That is my guess. I don't, obviously, you're kind of looking at one or two characters. If they really felt it, I guess they could throw it at Balrog, but I think after that first week where Dank ran a train on them, you do not see that Dank, or you don't see Dank on Sim again. On that note, this also means that Rashid is available for this week. So I'm most likely thinking a Karen ban out of Psycho to give themselves the best opportunity. I also see potentially Smug going with Balrog instead of G, and giving Dank is my guess for the way this is going to work, because I think that Smug, and then if Smug goes into JB, he'll beat him. That is my guess for this time around. But on that note, I still believe that Inferno might have the advantage here. I say that Smug winning with my heart, but in my head, I'm like, I still think Inferno is probably going to take this. Sim not being available is really huge. And on top of that, ideally, for God's sake, Punk plays like Punk as opposed to Delinquent.
Punk's going for retribution now.
I hope so, dude.
I mean, your ego can only take so much of it.
Yeah. So, on that note, I do believe this is in favor of Inferno should the bans proceed like so. Though Psycho has been known to ban weird things. And just on the fact that JB is going to kick the shit out of people with that Rashid, as we all have continued to complain about. And on to the final match. We've got Spirit fighting up against Frost. In the first week, we had a first week. You know what I mean? The first time these guys played together, they had Rashid.
You didn't give us a chance to, Mortsy? We didn't get a chance to talk. Helix and I didn't get a chance to talk about Psycho Inferno.
Oh, did you actually want to, discuss it?
Well, I mean, I think Helix does. Me, personally, you mirrored my exact thoughts, literally to a T. I am predicting exactly the way you're saying it. Karen and Dulcim are the bans. It comes down to player order, and I think there is... I exactly think Smug is going to pick Balrog, but I don't think he runs into Rashid.
Do you think he'll lose before then?
I think he's going to lose before then, which is why Inferno will win, because Balrog is not there for Rashid. That's my take on it. SplicedHelix has a lot to say, I'm sure, about this one.
I think Psycho wins on Bizarro World, where things don't make sense. So Inferno will take it on Bizarro World, the opposite of everything.
Okay.
He
missed.
Come on.
Okay.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
So
anyway,
he's actually picking Inferno.
Takes it. I think everybody on Inferno gets a win. Everybody goes one. Everybody takes their game.
You're taking 3-0.
Let's go Broly. Let's go Broly.
This is the... Okay. Did you say that about the last...
This is the week.
Did you say that about the last
matchup?
The
week every week.
I might have.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I think the last time we tried to predict Psycho versus Inferno... Oh, no, we didn't do a prediction for that one, because that was still the first half. But that was just a
it's probably just Helix going, this is the week every week for
Broly. All right.
I have hope.
No, that's fair.
All right, let's
I
talk
have
about
dreams too.
Let's go to the last matchup.
Yeah, so I just didn't feel that there was anything up for debate there, to be honest.
Okay.
So I didn't. I will ask for your thoughts after the next few ones, though. Just see if there's any extra things that I missed or that we could add, akin to the not pardon the interruption, is it? But the other one, your sports show, where they do the corrections at the end to fix everything.
No, that is part of the
They said
interruption.
it wrong. It is part of the interruption.
Yeah, shout outs to ESPN. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Thank God for sports.
Yeah, all right.
So previously we had Rashid banned from Spirit and Karen banned, which means we were not going to be seeing a Samurai OCV, or will we? And we will not be seeing the Laura. And on that note, thinking about the way that both Arturo and CJ have been playing, this makes me feel that Dual Kevin's about to ruin everyone. Which, on that note, I do expect to see an Akuma and a Laura ban respectively, because obviously I don't think you give any other players on their teams a mind. So on my notes, I've got Rashid and Cammy / Karen are available, and this matchup is going to come down to Dual Kevin versus CJ Truth. I wasn't super sure who would win, especially if CJ, we're going to see Cammy, and that's where I think the ambiguity comes in this matchup. Cammy's got excellent anti-projectile tools to deal with the EX Mixer should she have reversal. Should she have meter. So I really do feel that these teams are evenly matched going into this. That or whoever doesn't win, whoever wins is going to sweep the other. Essentially my thoughts. Unless Idom comes out with the best poison play of his life. And Art finally does lose horribly. On that note, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm of the mind. I'm still, when I think about Cammy Rashid, I still feel that Cammy, it's 5-5. It used to be Cammy's advantage. This was one of the few matchups that Cammy actually Rashid had a really hard time in, due to dive kick actually being a really big issue and difficult to react to for Rashid, unless you got to be so early to actually beat it. It's very difficult. So I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts about who do you feel is going to win and why. Toga or Helix, why don't you start us off?
I think honestly, the best thing would be a freaking trap. Oh yeah, we're gonna beat them so easy. You know they're already out, and then they just come and whoop on everybody. That'd be great. I don't see it happening, but that'd be great. Just throw in a wrench at Frost. Be like, hey, we're not completely out of it. We can still mess up your stats there. I don't think it'll happen, but it would be great.
Who won the last matchup? The previous matchup?
The team that won the previous one, it was Frost.
Okay.
Sorry, it was I think Spirit then? I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember how I organized my
I'll
thing
take a
here.
look real quick.
Yeah, so it was Spirit won.
Spirit did win the last one.
Yeah.
Spirit had Laura, didn't they?
Yeah, they had Laura.
So, but I think they won it 3-0. What week was this? We're going to week 10, so this is week 6, 5? I'm just going to see.
Our numbers are so off.
Yeah, Spirit swept them last.
Oh yeah, straight up.
Swept them last.
Idom beat Dual Kevin, Sabin beat Sherry, and CJ beat Samurai. I remember because we talked about how CJ beat him at his own game, playing lame.
And then then there was the weird ban on the part of Frost. They banned Karen in that one. So, here's the thing.
Oh yeah, they banned. No. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Frost
that funky band.
Yeah, Frost banned Karen last time, which was really strange.
Because that's the character that CJ had been playing.
Yeah. So here's how I'm feeling. Before the season started, we picked Spirit to do really, really well. I'm doing the thing. Conventional wisdom says they swept last time, but they were essentially at full strength, if you want to call it that, with the lack of the ban. So, going into this one, only one of their characters, or one of their players, will get nerfed. And chances are it's gonna be CJ. If I had to guess. But
do you think they'll go after Idom?
Oh, they might go after IDOM. I don't know. IDOM, like we talked about earlier, IDOM is 2-2 right now. Right? And there is going to be a G, potentially. Right? Oh no, Dual Kevin played G last time. Ignore what I just said.
No.
I'm just
He's
getting...
got Rashid.
Okay, so I'm getting
And
really...
he has Laura, and he won't have Laura this time.
Okay. So...
I don't think the bans are really up for debate. I think
Okay,
it's more just who's going to win between CJ and DK that it's down to.
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm getting really, really sick and tired of being wrong about picking Spirit. So I'm absolutely
You're
done.
going to do it anyways?
No, I am absolutely done with picking Spirit. I'm picking Team Frost to win this because I think Samurai is going to get a win with Ryu because Akuma's getting banned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Dual Kevin cleans up. I think that's all it is. I'll go further on a limb and say, please, Sherry, win one. Sherry, win one. I believe in you, homegirl. Win one.
It sounds familiar.
It does. Because I said it.
Like,
it does. No, because I said it last week too, but Sherry got banned out and she had Ryu, which is really freaking weird. Anyways, this time around, Sherry gets one. I promise you. Sherry gets one. And I think this is it.
Sounds familiar.
It does. Sounds very familiar.
Sherry gets
same
one.
hopeless tone.
Okay.
Listen. Just because you're correct does not mean that you're right. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
That's stealing my phrase of just because you're plus doesn't mean you're right.
All right.
Anyways, Helix. Technically, also, I asked Helix for his opinion first, and Toga stole the show.
Oh.
So, anyways, Helix, hit me with how you feel about this matchup going into it.
Wait, didn't he say his?
I win already.
Did you?
He did. Yeah. That's why I jumped in.
Game?
No, I completely missed it. I didn't hear you.
Well, stop producing that chemical in your brain that blocks out the sound of my voice.
Can't.
What? Oh my god.
Who did you ban then in that case? Or sorry, who'd you pick?
Oh, I said if it was a trap game and Storm came out and threw a wrench in Frost's cogwheel.
Storm?
That
you mean Spirit?
We're out of the Spirit. Sorry, Spirit.
Thank you.
We're out of the running, but we're gonna tank you guys anyway as a trap game.
So it's Spirit.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would be awesome.
All right, I'm gonna need you to declare. Say, I think blank.
I think Frost is gonna win.
Wait, I thought you said Spirit.
He said it'd be nice if Spirit did it.
I said if.
This is why I need a declaration.
You just don't listen.
Interpreting what you guys are saying.
I'm picking Frost. I'm picking Frost.
Me too.
I'm tired of picking Spirit
right.
because they never show up when I pick them.
It's
So
like
I'm
poor
done.
Geki last season.
Yeah. Poor Geki.
Shout outs to Geki,
Him and
who was right about IDOM's neutral for this week, anyways, against G.
No, we covered that. That's a tough matchup.
All right.
Hard.
All right.
And just because you backdash one telegraph forward heavy punch doesn't mean that the neutral's bad.
All right.
Look at her stubby arms too. She's like a freaking Tyrannosaurus Rex. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Spirit.
Okay.
I like the idea of well, seeing as I played Rashid for 3 years, I know that this Cammy matchup is garbage. I hate it with a passion. I actually played Fang. I prefer playing Fang than playing Rashid in that matchup. Which goes to say a lot because Cammy Fang is 6'4" for Cammy. But I do feel that CJ is a stronger player than Dual Kevin. I think that if he, please God, if he plays Karen, Spirit is not winning. I guess that is my caveat. Other than that, I think if he plays Cammy, I think they'll win. Unless, God, could you imagine he picked Cammy and Samurai beats him?
With Ryu? I can imagine that, actually.
Redemption arc?
That'd be exciting, honestly. Anyways, so yeah, I'm going to end it there. I think Spirit picks it up. So just to go over quickly, Gale, Storm, we've got Toga with Gale, Helix with Bale, and I was once again with Storm. Helix was, if G is banned, Gale will win, and if not, Storm will win. Everyone's pretty unanimous on Inferno beating Psycho, and finally, Spirit losing to Frost. Toga and Helix, while I believe have Spirit for Spirit, and I believe they can do it.
We really have to stop picking them. We really do. Anyways.
Mortsy's got Spirit. Yes, he do.
Okay, apparently he does.
Not for long.
All right. That's this week's episode of Beyond the Fist. Video footage from Street Fighter League Pro US is used with permission from Capcom. Follow the Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League on Twitch at twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters, on YouTube at youtube.com/Capcom Fighters TV, and on Facebook Live, facebook.com/Capcom Fighters. 2 weeks left. One team out, one team on the brink and needing help. Week 10 might mathematically give us our top 4 going to the playoffs of Capcom Cup. Tune in to find out on Twitch and on YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Halloween evening for the panel. SplicedHelix, Mortsy, and myself, togashiazrael, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on Beyond the Fist. And Mortsy, good luck at Canada Cup, my friend.
Thank
Go
you.
get him.
See you guys.
Benji.
Benji.
That's
See
why I
you
get on stream.